Hi everyone, welcome back to the Growing Chess channel and Opening Traps series. In our first episode of this series, we studied a very common legal trap in the opening, starting with a king's pawn. Today we are going to see something very interesting from the black's side, where white starts the game with his queen's pawn. So without wasting any further time, let us get started. The opening trap that we are going to study today is called as the Lasker Trap in the Albin Counter Gambit. Now, what is the Albin Counter Gambit opening? First, let us look at that. So, white plays d4, black goes d5, white goes c4. This is a typical queen's gambit. And black, instead of going into an orthodox line with Slav c6 or e6 queen's gambit declined, dc4 queen's gambit accepted, black decides to play e5. With this move, why is this called as a gambit? Because gambit is something where we give up a pawn, sacrifice a pawn for something in exchange. Most of the times counterplay. Here we are sacrificing the e5 pawn. After d into e5, black's idea is to play d4, grab some central space, not allow to develop this knight on c3 easily, and try to restrict white's pieces a bit. Here, the main line for white is knight f3 and then knight c6 defending this pawn, and then white should develop the bishop with g3. But if on the fourth move white goes for e3, trying to fight for this d4 pawn and the d4 square right away, then there is a very interesting and very surprising variation. Bishop b4 check. Now obviously there is no knight c3, so white goes bishop d2, d into e3. Now it looks like the bishop here is hanging. If white decides to take this bishop, e into f2 check, king cannot capture this because the queen on d1 is hanging. So king has to go to e2. Now a very important idea here. F into g1 all right, but not queening. If you queen, you are losing the tempo. F into g1, under promote to a knight, give a check, win a tempo. White has to either take this or move the king. He cannot take this actually because of bishop g4 check. And in that skewer, he's going to lose the queen. So he has to play king e1, after which black has won a lot of material. Black has forcefully broken white's castles. Black can play queen h4 check here. The king moves away. Obviously, white cannot play g3 because of this queen e4 check and attacking the rook at the same time. So king d2. And black can simply keep developing his pieces, and this king is going to be doomed right in the center in the opening phase itself. So here after d into e3, white decides to play f into e3. It does not want to allow this. So black here plays queen h4 check. Now the actual trap, the actual opening trap is in the variation bishop into b4, which we already saw. But if white tries to avoid this trap, still he's going to go into a worse position where queen h4 check happens, and then white will have to play g3 to not break the castle. So after g3, black can go queen e4, attacking the rook. He has to play either queen f3 or knight f3. Can go knight f3, let's say. You can play queen into e3 check because the bishop is pinned, and black has gained back the lost pawn with a lot of weaknesses in white's camp. And here, if white decides to go queen f3, then black can simply take bishop into d2 first with a check, knight into d2, and you can simply capture the e5 pawn with a long-term weakness, isolated pawn on the e3 square. Now, later on, after winning this pawn back, the material is equal, but black has managed to create a lot of weaknesses in white's camp. Unnecessary pawn moves were provoked by black, and white was forced to do them. Now, black can simply develop his pieces here, get castled, and start attacking these weaknesses. Black gets definitely a better position here. So the correct way to not fall for this trap, if you are white, you should here, instead of going e3, you should play knight f3, knight c6, now g3, let's say bishop b4 check. You should play bishop d2 or even knight bd2, both are fine. And then knight goes to b3 later after bg2 castles. Knight will go to b3, and then do not rush to attack the d4 pawn. Yes, this is a gambit line, so black plays a pawn down for a long time, but black has definitely some initiative going. And if white plays correctly, white will be the one who will be getting a good position out of the opening phase. Okay, guys, if you have found this video really instructive, do like the video and do not forget to subscribe our channel. Also, click on the bell icon to get notified with our newest video updates. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. See you soon.